Hi, thank you so much for joining me here today. This is Organized Zen Now. My name is Janie Downey. If this is helpful to you, please like, please share, and please subscribe. When you subscribe to this channel, YouTube starts to recognize this as being a channel and more people find access to it. So that's super helpful, and I appreciate your help on that. Thank you. All right, so Organized Zen. Organized Zen is getting to the work that you want to do that comes from your heart. And the Zen part is about doing that in a way that's unique to you and something that works well for you without making you panic and worry and feel like you're not living up to the way that somebody else is getting organized. We all get on track in our own way, and we all get off track in our own unique way. So these tips are meant to help you figure out a way that helps you get on track. So what I'm going to talk about today is time management. And I know that sounds super scary, except I like time management, but I know just even the sound of it sounds like, it sounds like a business thing. But what I'm offering it to you is to say, when you embrace the facts and you figure out what it is that you're currently working on, you're going to do a much better job of figuring out why you're not getting to something, or how what you can add or what you can take off to get to the work that you want to do most, and feel really good about it, because that's the Zen part. So I'm going to start off with a quote from Buddha, and I just love this. And it is, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." So what I love about that is it's easy to say, my life's a little out of control because of this person or because of this going on. And we don't have a control over a lot of things in our lives. What we have control over is how we react to them. And that, to me, gets back to what the Buddha is offering to say, you have control. You have a say in your life. So here's maybe how you can find some control today. Okay, so I'm going to set this up a little differently than I've done in the past, which is normally to talk to you and offer advice and then have you do an exercise. So this time you're actually going to do your activity right in the middle of this, because again, you got to embrace the facts to figure out why you're not getting stuff done. And the facts are really doing a time audit. So what I want you to do is, you're either going to pull a pad of paper from your book that you're working on, so you know where your notes are, not random notes, or an art book, which I'm finding great fun because I got big blank sheets of paper, and you're going to do a time audit. And I'm going to talk you through this, and then I'm going to ask you to stop the video to actually work on this. For a time audit, you are looking at either a typical day or a typical month. This is the big chunks of time that you have, so you don't need to include that you got up and that you took a shower or how much you sleep. But it's really looking at the big chunks of time of how you spend your time. So for me, when I'm doing a time audit, I find it easiest to just write a big list to say, what takes up most of my time. So writing, running, reading the paper, YouTube. You want to be as accurate as you can. Be honest with yourself. No one's reading this, but you. This is your notebook. No one's judging. No one's editing. I spend time on food prep. I do theater. I want to spend time with friends and family. That's in here. This is my monthly. I'm working up for a big bike ride. That's in there. I read. I'm doing an art class. I'm working on Organized Zen. I sing. I do volunteer work. And then I go to the museums. If that works for you to have that in one big list, that's helpful. What I find, though, is I take that and then I think, okay, what's a sample day or what's a sample week look like? So there's certain things that I do every day. Like if you dropped in on me at any time, you can pretty much reliably know that I'm out for a run, or that's when I'm reading the paper. And things that I do every day, I have a big block of time to write every day. And then there's some stuff that falls onto the weekends that works well for me. And then there's occasional things that I work on. So no matter whichever way works for you, but just start by a brainstorm and just think through, how do I spend my time? All right, so pause the video here and give that about 10 minutes thought, and then join me here again. Okay, we're back. So now you have either a big sample list of everything you do, and how much time that takes for you, or a sample month, what you do on a daily basis. Now I want you to look at that. Now this takes I always advocate, write it down and then give yourself some time to think. So this is the thinking time, okay? Now you're going to look at that. And I want for you to end up with a list. It may not be there now, but this is maybe where you're headed. To be able to look at that list and say, just like a beautifully decluttered closet, that a beautifully decluttered closet, anything you reach in and grab, you love. There's nothing where you grab out and go, someone gave me that, I don't want that, or it doesn't really fit me anymore, or I never did like this color. That shouldn't be in your closet, also shouldn't be on your list. So look at your list and you're looking for things that would jump out of you to say, ooh, I don't like having that in my closet. I don't like having that on my list. Circle those things that you want to take out maybe, or you think, this is taking up way too much time. You're looking to say, is it all good? Is it all good for me? Not for someone else, but is this good for me? And then don't let worry steal your Zen on this. So if there's stuff on there where you feel committed or obligated and it's worrying you, again, we're embracing the facts right now. So it's on your list and we're going to decide what you're going to do with that. So that's your first step. The second is to look at this and just to say, did I choose this with intent? And then we've been doing some talks on priorities. And are these things that are on my daily, my monthly, my weekly list, is this stuff that is a top priority for me? And flag those pieces, because there's things that can sneak onto your list that you think, dang, that is not a priority for me, but I've been doing that for a long time. And now's the time. I love different colored pencils, different colored pens. Take something, whatever works for you, and highlight that to say, it's on there. I'm committed to it, but maybe that's not a top priority. Another thing that I will look for on a list to say, is this all positive energy for me? So there are some things you have to do, right? And they drain your energy. But look at this list and say, what's draining energy on here? Or do I have things on here that all add to my energy? So, and, we make these commitments to ourselves sometimes, and then we say, that's not actually still working for me. What's the Buddha say? You get to make choices. This is your life. So you get to choose to say, loved it. Now I'm not totally loving that. Maybe that's something I want to cut. So what do you want to cut off? And what can you cut? What are simple things to cut? So when I first did a big priority list like this, I cut TV, I cut movies, and I cut novels because I was trying to work on a historic novel. I needed to do research instead. And I have a lot of thoughts about digital time. So, I read the paper, I watch YouTube, and those are whole sucks. Like, you definitely can do a lot of time on those. If it's still high energy and you're enjoying it and you're getting something out of it, that's great. Where I think digital can really bring you down is if you randomly turn on the TV or you turn on your computer and you're watching an app and you're not choosing with intent. Things loop, right? And especially like with Netflix and Hulu, like the next thing shows up and you can just really spend a huge amount of time with that. So I think that's scary for time management. It's more time maybe than you want, and it's just really, really hard to turn that off. And I would advocate that if you're missing some of those, like you really love those stories, when you read, no one's selling you anything. And it's easier on your brain, I think, because your brain is building pictures as you go. Just a very different process. So if you're not a print reader, that could be a possible alternative to you from digital media. I know that goes back in time, but uses your brain in a very different way. Test it out. I always say, test things out. See if that would work for you. And then the other thing when you look at your list is, we've talked about this a little bit with priorities. Is there something that you'd like to have time for that you're not seeing on here and that you want to make space for? Sometimes you have no time on your list. If you have kids, if you got a demanding job, I've said this before, there's times in your life where you don't have any time to make choices. And then that's embracing the facts as well and saying, this is what I got right now. Okay. That's why I'm not getting to extra stuff. But if you've got some time, my cat wants to get involved in this conversation, then there's something you want to make space for. What can you take out? Or is there something that's on your list that you can delegate to someone else? You may love doing it, but can somebody else help you with it? And just asking for help. And then another thing is to just change your commitment. And I had somebody really push back on me one time in a talk. And she said, I can't believe that you'd make a commitment and you would back out of it. And I said, well, the ones I back out of are usually the ones I make to myself. So I'm not going to back out of a commitment to take someone to the airport or to work on my taxes. I have to do those, right? What I'm going to back out on sometimes is I made a commitment. I wanted to get this thing done, and now I don't have time for it, and it's making me a little crazy. So I'm going to pull that off the list, and that changes your commitment at a Zen level. And then the other thing that you can do, if something's writing on your list, these are kind of the annoying things where you think, God, it's on my list, and I love it. I just going on forever, right? Is to add a deadline. And Gretchen Rubin has a funny exercise with this. Gretchen writes terrific books on organization. Gretchen Rubin. And she has a funny one around deadlines to say, if you're not getting something done, give yourself an artificial deadline. And we all know we can blow off an artificial deadline, right? You're like, yeah, I'll just change that. But so she offers this, which I think is funny. I have not tried this because it would be too scary for me, but I think it's a cool idea, which is if you're not getting to something, to make a commitment to a friend to say, I am trying to learn the guitar. I'm trying to write a novel. If I am not done by August 1st, I am now writing out a check, and I am writing a check not to this person, but to an organization that I despise. This in a million years is not something I would want to participate or contribute to in any way. But I'm writing out a check, and I'm going to write it for a big amount of money, something that's going to hurt me personally, not $1 or $5. This is something that will hurt you if that check gets cashed, and you give it to your friend, and their job is not to bug you. This is you. What the Buddha say? This is up to you. But if you don't get to that commitment, their only job is to ask you on August 1st, am I mailing this check or not? And if you're not done, there's no getting out of this. Your friend needs to make that commitment with you to say, if you're not done, and that pressure of a deadline can super help. One other thought on a deadline that I totally love is when I was working at the library in Maine, I ran a program, and it was on songwriting, and Judd Caswell ran it, and he is absolutely a fabulous songwriter and a really, really good coach. And he told a great story one time about deadlines for people. Like, songwriting is hard. It's poetry, and it's music, and it's coming right from your gut. And it takes some time. And he was working with a group, and this guy said, I can't get to it. I can't finish a song every month. And Judd said, oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. So why don't you do one by the end of the week instead? And the guy said, I can't even get it done in a month. How am I possibly going to get this done in a week? And Judd said, oh, yeah, I totally get that. All right, why don't you write me a song right now? Just do it right now. And the guy's like, all right. Got his pad. Here's what's in his head. Here's what's in his head right now. And he's got the start. He's got the start of his song because it was an immediate deadline. So if you got something that's hanging out on your list, sometimes that's just the baby step you need, is to say, wow, I'm just gonna blast out the first part. Okay. So I hope this helps. You are doing a time audit. You are looking to see how you're spending your time right now. You're going to be as realistic as possible. You are going to see if there's something that you want to add. And then most importantly, you're going to assess, is there something I want to take off this list? Is this going to be my decluttered closet of stuff? Or I can reach in, grab any item on that list and say, this is a great use of my time right now. Okay, I hope that helps. If it does, please like, please share this, and please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. I hope to see you back here again. Bye.